What's up? My name is Cardinal Mason. I've been trying to do a video like this for so long. I've been trying to do a video where it's just you and me hanging out, and I can tell you what I'm about to tell you. So, you don't know what happens when you start a business because you've never done it before. And the biggest thing that stops you is the fear of the unknown. And I know I can abolish that in literally 10 minutes. And I've never done a video like this. I just want to show you what it's like to fully just like throw yourself into this and just get rid of all the questions that you're going to have about what's going to actually happen when I start a business. Because that is the reason why nobody has done this. Like everybody thinks, like if it's so easy, why doesn't everyone do it? It's about the fact that you are so afraid of what you think is going to happen or what you think you're going to waste your time on that you never actually do it. I've held this belief for a while that starting a business and getting a side hustle, whatever, to like 5 to 10K a month is easier than getting a job. The reason I know that is because I've been an entrepreneur for 4 years now, over 4 years. And I know it doesn't look like it, but I started when I was 20 and I'm now 25. And I know that if I had to start over from scratch and get to 10K a month as fast as I possibly could, I could do that in like 2 weeks. And for me to get a job that's going to pay me 120K a year as a salary might never happen because I didn't graduate college and I really have no like work history. You know what I mean? Like I've had businesses, but like who knows if anyone's going to take that shit seriously. And so I know how easy it is to start a business, but you don't. And so my thing has always been like if you can just download, excuse me, if you can download my brain and just do what I would do and know what the path is going to be, then maybe you'll start. And I think it benefits you to do this. It benefits you to watch this video. So I'm going to just jump right in. Okay. So, and I have notes here, by the way. I'm going to do minimal editing here because I just want to send this live. Okay. Um, there are two types of people that are entrepreneurs or that end up being entrepreneurs. They're sort of like the natural born hustlers who just have no hesitation and just will do whatever it takes to make money. And then there's people like me. And if you've watched my videos or seen anything from me before, you know I'm not a natural entrepreneur. And you know that I'm usually talking to non-natural entrepreneurs when I make these videos. You don't have to be a natural hustler to make money. I know you think that a lot of the people that are going to be the most successful are the ones that are posting like Warren Buffett quotes on their Instagram story when they're in high school. And that's just not the way it is. Those people actually usually never get success because they just mentally masturbate the entire time and never actually get anything done. But there are a subset of people they have a combination of being talented and they work hard and they get results really, really fast. Those are the people that you see that get to 10K a month in their first or second month and then just scale all the way up to 100K a month. There's a couple people I know like that. I was not like that, and I'm assuming you're not. So whenever you hear someone, including myself, say that you can get to 10K a month in 3 months or you can sign your first client in the first week or two, it is possible, but it's not going to happen like that for everybody. But here's usually how it goes, okay? And remember what I said. The reason you can't see yourself succeeding in business is because you've never actually succeeded in business before. Makes sense, right? Where it's like when you think about like you doing a business, it doesn't register and you never try because you don't see yourself doing it because you've never done it before. But everyone starts at zero. Nobody has succeeded in business before they succeeded in business. Does that make sense? Unless you're some daddy's money shit, which I'm not, okay? um, so you start with the learning phase, right? And I'm assuming that's where a lot of people are right now watching this, where you're watching this going, okay, I'm just going to try and gather as much information as I possibly can. I'm going to go through a bunch of videos. I'm going to listen to podcasts. I'm going to read stuff. I'm going to read books, ask for book recommendations, follow people on social media that seem to be doing what I want to do. And that is super important. A lot of people are going to be like, no, you're procrastinating. You don't need to do that. And maybe I've said that before, but if I said it, I was trying to be a dickhead on purpose. That actually is super important. That procrastination phase at the beginning is super important to learn all this stuff because even if you're not getting an exact path where it's like step 1, step 2, step 3, the fact that you're just learning little contextual pieces, it's little pieces of information in your brain that haven't connected yet, but one day they will. Okay? So the learning phase is about just like gathering lingo, figuring out how people are charging. I did this for a long time, way too long. I learned what copywriting was in December of 2018. I didn't actually try for real until March of 2020, which is when COVID happened. It was probably April. So I took a long time to do research, but I also felt really ready. I don't think you should do that. I think max Do not give yourself more than 3 months. After that, you're just wasting time. You're not helping yourself because you're just losing money. And this is another thing I heard from someone. It was a quote from Nate Schmidt, actually. And he said that every single day that you don't make money isn't just like an opportunity cost. It's like the money is literally gone. Like if I started making money a year before, I would literally have an extra $500 to $1 million to my name right now. But that money's gone forever. I can take more time to make more money, but that money that I could have made back then is gone forever, and it's same for you. So like if you're 25 right now and you've been thinking about this shit for 2 years, that's 2 years of money that you'll never have access to. So don't make the learning phase too long, okay? But that's gonna happen, all right? And then you go through all this stuff and you're like, you have to make a decision. You're like, all right, I'm ready. I'm doing this right now, okay? And then you get the, oh shit, I actually have to work now phase, which is when you realize like I've been doing all this research and it's been so fun because I'm getting all this dopamine, but I actually haven't done anything yet. I haven't actually made money. I haven't done any of the work. And then you're like, oh shit, I actually have to work. And that's when it starts to set in and it stops being as fun because you're like, okay, now like the hard part comes. But remember, two things. Number one, it's not going to last nearly as long as you think it will. And two, it's really not as hard as you think it'll be. You think like if you hate, doing outreach and stuff like that, like everyone hates doing outreach. Everyone hates like, setting everything up and making everything look pretty and stuff, getting a logo, making a website. But it's better than working at fucking McDonald's. And I can say that because I've worked at McDonald's and it was not that fun. Okay. And then you're going to set your website up. You're going to do all this stuff, right? And then you're going to get your first dub. And that doesn't mean get your first client. It just means your first dub that you deem as a dub. So it could be like maybe you set up a website and you're really proud of it. That's a dub, right? For me, my first dub was my first response that I got to a cold email. I remember I'd sent probably a couple dozen cold emails at this point. His name was Mohammed. His email was mh@vandalproject.com. And he replied to me, and that was when I realized, oh shit, all this is actually happening. Like, this is actually going to be a thing. He replied to me, it's not positive, but at least I know I'm not, like, shooting shots into, like, the abyss, right? Like, people are reading this shit. And then, like, this is not, like, I'm spending too much time on the beginning part, but no matter what, you will sign your first client. And the feeling that you'll get when you actually sign that first client is better than anything you could possibly get from anywhere else, okay? It's better than drugs. It's better than signing your 15th client and you hit, 15K a month, or not 15, like 100K a month. There's nothing better than signing your first client. I had a podcast clip from a long time ago where I talked about this playlist that I made called Rich Guy Summer, where I was making 4 or 5K a month, and I made this playlist because I thought I was rich. But I wasn't rich yet. I had just done something that I didn't think I was going to do. I surprised myself, and that was the greatest gift I could have ever given myself. So you're going to be overjoyed when you sign that first client. In the first few weeks will be murky, where you feel like you don't know anything and your anxiety is on high, but you're also overly confident. And that confidence is what's going to get you to that second client, because you sign that first one and you're like, oh my God, I am greater than I've ever been. I've never been more ready to sign more clients. I'm going to do it. So you sign that second client, and then you sign that third client. And this is now, you're in your second or third month, okay? This is literally how it's going to go. And you don't know this because you haven't done it yet. But in month 2 or 3, you're going to have 3 clients. And you're now making as much money as the average American. Okay? So that's the part that really sort of changed stuff for me, where it's like, I never really wanted to be that rich. I just wanted to make above average money without working that much. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't really want to work. I was trying to take the lazy man's route to being, well off, or at least comfortable, right? And so I got to 6K a month, and I was like, I'm making as much money as I would have if I just like spent another year and a half and then grinded away at a job. I was making 60, 70K a year. Like, that's really all I wanted at the beginning, but that's not enough. But no matter what, you're going to feel the urge to stop. You're going to be like, okay, I'm making money. I don't have to make more unless I absolutely want to, because the world is designed for people that make 60 to 90K a year for the most part, right? Unless you're in Miami or LA or New York, Chicago or whatever, where it's like you can, make millions and it costs millions to have a good life. if you're where I'm from, which is Hamilton, Ontario, Canada, you can make 60 to 90K a year and be fully comfortable. You won't need anything else. You'll be totally fine. You can get a decent apartment. You can have a nice life. Okay. And that's kind of what I was aiming for. But I realized that I couldn't stop because I looked down and I was like, wait, I'm only working like 3 hours a day and I'm making 6, 7K a month. Like, what happens if I like push to 6 to 8 hours a day and make more money? And so that was what I started to do. And so by month 5 to 6 is when you can hit 10K a month. And the 10K a month mark is really funny. And I'm going to remind you before I continue, I know you're thinking that this is all hypothetical, but I'm going to say one more time, I'm probably going to say it a couple more times throughout this video, that you don't see this as a possibility for yourself because you've never done it. There is a universe that exists where you're at 10K a month right now. There's a universe that exists where you're at 100K a month. If you believe in the theory of like, different realities, there is a reality where you are making this money. You're exactly the same. You're the same person watching this, but you're making way more money. Okay. I think that's a thing. There's universes that exist where I'm a loser, brokey idiot that makes no money, homeless, drug addicted. There's also a universe where I'm already a billionaire and I'm only 25. Okay. All of that is possible. And you have to think about that, right? So this could be the reality where that actually happens, but whatever. Month 5, 6, you're 10K a month. And this is where you feel like you're a real business owner. And if you've told your friends and family, they're going to think you're a real business owner too. It'll be one of those things where it's like, oh, like, even if they didn't think you were going to do it before, you're like, well, wow, you're 10K a month. Like, that's really impressive. Like, you're also making 6 figures, and that's like where everyone wants to be. 6 figures is not what it used to be back in like 1990. Back if you were making 6 figures in 1990, you were rich. Now it's not the same, okay? But it's still that number, that 10K a month mark, where it's like a lot of people will be comfortable there, okay? So everyone's going to tell you how rich you are, and you're going to tell yourself how rich you are, and you're going to gas yourself up, and they're going to gas you up, and you start feeling rich, so you spend more money, and then you realize how little 10K a month actually is. Because if you actually break down the numbers and you want to live like well, you're not living well on 10K a month. I actually had a theory a while back where I think that like 20 to 25K a month is like the sweet spot for most people because you still don't feel, you're not rich, right? Like you're making good money, but that's like the top of the middle class and you think middle class is like, 50K a year where like you're living in a normal house. It's like, no, middle class is around 2 to 300K a year. That's where it ends, right? And if you're there, you can live like a normal person and spend, 8-ish grand a month on your lifestyle and still save, like after taxes and everything, like another 100K a year. And that's super comfortable. And you don't have to change anything. You don't have to move down to Miami and start driving a Lambo and being a baller. You can live exactly how you want to live and just make 20K a month. So you could chill here. But you got to keep grinding, okay? Or maybe you can either sort of like stay where you're at or you can keep grinding. I chose to keep going, which is funny because remember, like my goal was not to be rich. What changed? Why did I all of a sudden want to be rich? I don't really know. I don't know what changed. I don't know what drove me to keep making more money. But I remember just being addicted. My personality completely changed. I wish you guys knew me. I used to be a socialist. Like when I was in college, I literally was like a Bernie bro. And I thought wealth was immoral. And I thought that anytime you make money, unless you're a worker, you're screwing somebody else over. Not true. And I changed my own mind on that. And so I'm going through and I'm just signing new clients all the time. And you're going to do the same where it's just like you're just on it. You know what I mean? And I know this because it happened recently to my student Bo. You guys know Bo, 70K a month, going nuts, crazy, just making so much money. Same sort of thing. You just like, you smell the blood in the water and you're just like, let's just make more. Until you get to the point where for most people, like Bo is an outlier. I'll say that right now. I shouldn't even be telling you about Bo because like the FTC is going to come after me. Bo is an outlier. You probably won't be Bo. You probably won't be 70K a month in your first year. It's just not going to happen. But you can get to like 20 to 30K a month 12 months after you hit 10K a month, right? Because your beliefs have changed. You've got more skills. Everything's different now. You're a different person. You have a new identity. Your identity is someone that makes money, okay? And so it's a lot easier for you to attract money, attract clients, and do all the stuff that you want to do, right? But once you get to like 20, 30-ish K a month is when you start to feel the pressure because you get busy and you also realize how easy it would be to lose everything that you have. I remember when I lost my first client, I didn't, well, not my first client, but the first time I lost a client, it was this agency. Oh wait, no, was that no, that was the second one. The first one was this guy that I was writing emails for. His name was, I shouldn't say his name, but he was a real estate coach. And he had to fire me because another bigger agency basically swallowed up all of his operations and I was just out. And he didn't want to fire me, but the agency was like, we just need to do it this way. And they were going to do everything. So it was whatever. And the retainer was only like $2,000 a month. But I remember thinking like, oh, this could happen to any one of my clients. And I could be on the street in a minute. And so you start to feel the pressure and it like kind of stops being a little bit fun where it's like, you can turn your brain off and just understand like, yeah, I'm making $30K a month and I'm like, young and I just started like a year and a half ago and everything's, sweet. But then when you start to think like that, you're like, oh, it feels like pressure. This is when you're going to think like, okay, I'm really busy. I have all this stuff going on and I don't think that this is the vehicle that's going to make me more money. Because remember, you're addicted to money now. Even if you think it's not going to happen to you, it's going to happen. Everyone thinks, oh, once I get to 10K a month, 12K a month, 15K a month, I'll stop. No. When you realize that you're like sitting on a money printer, you can never turn it off. This is true for every business ever. I know people that have been, they make, 100K a month, right? And they do it 2 months in a row and they grind really hard and you're like, you know what? That was sick. I'm going to take a couple months off or a month off or something like that just to congratulate myself. And then when they come back from their little vacation after a month, it's all gone. You cannot turn the money printer off. It's just the way it is. You're on a treadmill. Unless you're an advanced entrepreneur and you know how to like delegate and have money sort of work for you, you can't turn it off. Okay, so you got to keep growing, or else you're gonna stagnate and you'll be pissed off. Also, too, 30K a month doesn't feel like much because your lifestyle inflates, whether you like it or not. Your lifestyle inflates, and you don't feel like you're making that much money because even if you're saving, 5, 10K a month, more than that, 20K a month, you're still like, I could be saving more. Because you see the path. You know that you've gone from like, 5K a month to 30K a month in 18 months. And you're like, yo, I could get to 50K a month in the next year. Because you just see that you've gained all these skills. This is just how it works, right? This is when you need to switch it up. Because the thing that got you there is not going to get you here. I think I said that right. What got you here will not get you there. The thing that got you to 30K a month is not going to get you to 100K a month. So even as a copywriter, what I did was I got to my peak, 48K a month. That was like end of 2021. I realized how burnt out I was. And I was like, damn, like, I don't know if this is going to be the thing that gets me to 100K a month because I literally couldn't multiply myself. I couldn't do more. And so at this point, you're probably going to want a mentor, right? And this is different from, the mentorships that sort of get sold online where like you have like traders or whatever that are like, I can, let me mentor you. Like even my thing, I never call it a mentorship because I'm not a mentor you shouldn't have to pay. A mentor should be the type of person that you just sort of stumble upon and they help you out because they see something in you and they're usually older and it's just a better way to sort of have a relationship. It shouldn't start with like payment. You know what I mean? I've had mentors where they're, 5, 10, 50 years older than me. 50 is a little stretch, but yeah, where like they can help me out and I, get a lot out of that relationship. And so they're kind of going to tell you what to pivot to, and you got to think about like how can I sort of like take my skills and multiply it. So like this is where I see a lot of copywriters go like start an agency. That's like what I did, or you got to change something up. But that's going to change. This is also the time when you should start building an audience if you haven't already. So it's not that you have to go and be a guru and start selling a course. I actually don't recommend that for most people because it's just why. But you build an audience. You go to LinkedIn or Twitter or Instagram or TikTok and you start documenting what you've done and seeing if you can help people. That's kind of what I did. And then this is so you're building an audience, you're making more connections, you're becoming legitimate sort of in the industry. And then you're going to have that business that sort of makes, whatever you decide to do. You're probably going to get to like 100K a month in like year 3-ish. That's kind of what happened for me and everybody else. By the way, this is not just my story. This is like scarily accurate how similar it is to my buddy Ben, my buddy Jimmy, some of my other friends, Sanjay, who are all sort of in this space, my boys, right? I'm sure you know who they are. And so you get to 100K a month, you're building an audience, maybe you have a couple of other side projects or whatever, they're going to start cash flowing you. Like you're going to be a millionaire soon, the way it's going to be. You know what I mean? A lot of people are thinking like, okay, like how can I like sell a business and become a millionaire? You don't have to do that. You can cash flow your way to millionaire status. And it's not going to take that long. Like if you are making, 30K a month for like a year with freelancing or something like that, and then you start over and you start doing something else that gets you to 100K a month and you do that for a couple of years, like you'll put away $1 million and you'll be a millionaire. And so here's the best news. You can technically get to millionaire status in like 3 to 6 years. First of all, that would take 50 years if you were working a regular path, unless you're like, some sort of like really high paid professional. But for a regular person, if you were to invest and save, it would take you 40 years to be a millionaire. Maybe a little less, but that's pretty much what it would be. With business, and again, you don't see this because you're not there yet, because you don't know how to make money. But once you figure out how to make money and you understand how to monetize stuff and you understand like how to build a team and how to create demand for different products, you're going to hit millionaire status. It's basically guaranteed. 3 to 6 years, maybe a little bit longer, but like 100% is going to happen. And the best thing is, once you hit millionaire status, it's really, really hard to fuck up. It took me 3 and a bit years to become a millionaire, make 1 million. And then I've made, I've tripled that in less than a year. And that's just the way it is for a lot of people, where you hit millionaire status, it gives you a different level of swag, different level of confidence. You're a better marketer. You understand how to sell stuff. And then you're just going to make way more money. Oops, sorry. Got a Google notifications going off. But once you get to 1 million, like you're going to get to 10 in like another 3 to 5 years. And then after you get to 10, like you could actually retire. And a lot of this now is hypothetical because I'm not at 10 million, but I know a lot of people who are, and they also never thought it was going to work out for them, okay? They also thought they were never going to be anything. They also thought they were going to be destined to sort of work some dumbass job. And I think the main lesson here is that you don't know how close you are. You don't know how finicky reality is, where it's like one tiny little change can literally cause you to jump realities. I was not on the path to be speaking to you right now with, in the city I'm in, with the things I have, with the people I'm around. I was not on this path. And you're also not on that path right now. But it's one tiny little decision that literally causes you to jump realities. You will go from being like normie, regular path, no money in your bank. One decision, it branches you off this way, and it just goes so far that way where it's like you end up being miles and miles and miles away from where you thought you were going to be. And it doesn't even feel like you anymore. It's one decision. And the decision for you might be finishing this video, because obviously you've gotten pretty far here. But maybe the decision is maybe you need to start sending cold emails. But like once you make that one decision and start changing your identity, it branches off into something completely new and beautiful. And like I said, the reason you haven't done it yet is because you don't see the path. I'm telling you, the path is right in front of you, and it's scary how much things can change. And I don't mind telling you this stuff because I think it's important for you to know how business is going to go, but ultimately, you're still not going to know until you actually do it. And I think the last thing I can leave you with is just like jump in with both feet. You know what I mean? Where it's like, I know you're going to try and overanalyze everything, and I know you're going to sort of like procrastinate and think about like, what if it doesn't work? What if it does? What if everything works out in the best way possible? What if you end up being a millionaire in the next 5 years because you just jumped on an opportunity that, everyone else was afraid to jump on? What if that happens? Like, what if everything changes? What if you end up moving to your dream city? What happens if what if you get your dream car? What if you find your dream girl? What if you find your dream friends? That could all happen. And it's one decision away from jumping realities. So if you enjoyed this video, like, subscribe, whatever. Also, too, I didn't even mention this, but if you want to be not mentored. Holy shit. If you want to be taught by me and my team how to be a copywriter, how to do all this stuff, just like let us remove the mistakes from the equation, there's a link in the description. Just watch the video, see if it's for you. If not, I don't give a fuck. All right, thanks for watching. I'll see y'all later.